What is up, my sick gamer friends? We are playing Stellaris, and there is no Sean. It's a wonderful day. It's a peaceful day. It's a glorious day. As Sean has probably said in his video, his solo video that he did on Devil May Cry, which may be out. I have no idea. I refuse to watch it. What he may have said in that is that we are changing up the format of the show a little bit. So there is going to be individual videos from the two of us, each separately playing our own little games. But also we are going to do videos together still as well, so don't worry, we're not breaking up. If anything, we are combining our efforts into making a beautiful, beautiful channel, baby, together. We're in love. Sean was playing Devil May Cry, which is a game that he loves a lot, a series that he loves a lot and that he knows quite a bit about, and I'm sure it's a very good video, and I was joking before, I look forward to watching it. I haven't watched it yet properly at the time of recording this. But I have never played Devil May Cry. I don't really intend on really playing Devil May Cry. There are too many games. But I love games where I look at maps. And Stellaris is a game where you look at maps, but it's also in space. And therefore cooler, because space is cooler. But we're going to go deep, we're going to go on a journey. We are going to create a mythos. We are going to create an ultimate civilization, and if you come with me on this journey, I think it's going to be really rewarding. I think it's going to be dramatic. I think it's going to be impactful. I am going to put more detail into this game of Stellaris than I have ever done before. So I am very much looking forward to seeing what we can create and what we can come up with. We're going to create lore. We're going to follow the characters. We're going to watch this empire grow and take over the galaxy, or succumb to demons, or not demons, but robots, or aliens, or war. We don't really know what we're going to be in store for we cannot see history before it happens. But let's dive into Stellaris and get creating what our civilization's going to be. I have no idea what it's going to be. I've done zero prep for this. I just had this whim of an idea and hit record. So this could be dog shit. But I reckon it's going to be pretty good. Let's go. New game. Okay, so as you can see, I've played a lot of Stellaris, and I have a lot of different empires and various different aliens that I've created before. I don't have all of the DLC. They release DLC all the goddamn time, and it's expensive. But I have a fair chunk. Enough that we're going to have a pretty diverse game. And there's going to be content that I've never seen before, but I've been playing Stellaris since it came out in like 2016, so it's not going to be so much of a deep dive into the various mechanics of how the game works. It's going to be more of an overview and more of a storytelling aspect to it, but I'm sure you can pick up how the game goes by just kind of watching me play, and maybe you could even give me some tips. Maybe I've been doing something fundamentally wrong the entire time I've been playing Stellaris. But let's go. We'll create a new empire. So we have got some huge selections. First of all, the type of species that we are. Are we going to be humanoid, machine, mammalian, reptilian, avian, arthropoid, molluscoid, fungoid, plantoid, lithoid, or necroid? Overwhelming amounts of choice. So we got humanoids, which we have got a various selection of dudes here. We have got machines, in which we have got this selection of dudes here. Mammalian, in which there is quite a lot, kind of like this fucking weird goober dude. He's interesting looking. We've got reptilians. None of the reptilians are... This guy's really standing out to me. I've never seen his portrait before in playing it. We've got anthropoids. We've got molluscoids. Fungoids, little mushroom people, plantoids, like, you know, you can be like a little fucking flower that's gained sentience, lithoids, like a rock type person, necroid, I don't really know, like, demons. I like this dude. I like this weird fucker. Look at this fucking little... Hello. That's how I imagine they talk.
We talk like this.
Okay, let's see, what type of planet origin do we have? So there are various different planet origins in the game. As you can see, there is a fucking ton of them. I don't have all of them. As I said, there's a lot of DLC to this game that I'm still yet to acquire, which is great because it just means even more playthroughs. So we got Prosperous Unification, which is the kind of default standard launch. Through its strife and its triumphs, this society has reached every young civilization's ambition, a home world with unified goals and a path open to the stars. Or perhaps a necrophage origin. This civilization evolved as a parasite, forced to feed off other sapient life forms to sustain itself. As it arrives on the galactic stage, other species will either be brought into the fold or become its food. For the necrophage, there can be no other way. Yes, we eat others. I could kind of see these little fucking goober guys munching down on other species. You know, we got remnants. This civilization once spanned the void, controlling much of the galaxy. They were eventually defeated and almost destroyed, but after a long period of destitution, they are returning to the stars. Kind of a fallen, like, empire, almost. We used to be all-powerful, and they took it from us. We'll see. Shattered Ring. This civilization inhabits a ring world built by unknown forerunners. If it can be understood and fully repaired, it will grant them great power. Halo. Void Dwellers. This civilization has made its home in space for as long as it has maintained records. Life in a typical planetary environment is an anathema to them. They live in several orbital habitats that were only recently united. Scion, a fallen empire, has meddled in the development of this civilization for thousands of years, guiding them on a path of their choosing. So maybe we were brought to the stars by the fucking other goobers. On the shoulder, I keep saying goober, it's a good word. On the shoulders of giants, this civilization has hidden boons in their solar system, placed there in a distant past by a mysterious benefactor. Common ground. This civilization established early contact with their immediate alien neighbors. Finding strength in their differences, they soon decided to face the future and whatever it might bring together. A hegemon. This civilization established early contact with their immediate alien neighbors. Gradually, over the span of a century, they masterminded the birth of an interstellar union in which they would have a dominant role. Doomsday. The civilization's homeworld is highly unstable, and it is only a matter of time before it explodes. There is only hope is to seek refuge elsewhere before it is too late. A calamitous birth. Not native to their homeworld, these Lithioids arrived when a meteorite slammed into the planet and killed off most of the native life. We arrived on rocks. Life-seeded. The civilization home is a parasite, possibly designed just as a paradise, not a parasite, possibly designed just for them. Post-apocalyptic. Baptized by nuclear fire, this civilization has faced total annihilation and survived. Devastated yet unbroken, they have rebuilt civilization from the ashes of their old world. A clone army. A species of short-lived and infertile soldier clones exceptionally proficient in matters of war, left masterless and alone to question their engineered purpose and uncertain fate. That's an interesting one, the clone army. However, these guys look like nerds. And I don't think that they would be the clones. I think that they would be the cloners. You know, they don't look like they would be super militaristic. I mean, they're definitely militaristic, but I don't feel like they are actively putting themselves in the front line, you know. Resource consolidation. This machine intelligence has long since consolidated all resources in their home system into their capital world, covering it entirely with machinery. Hard reset. Abruptly severed from the machine that assimilated them, this nascent civilization has fought fiercely to establish its own presence in the galaxy. That's a really cool origin. Mechanist. This civilization has been preoccupied with the idea of metallic automatons since the early steam age. Although many said it could not be done, the first true robots left the assembly lines long before even rudimentary spaceflight was achieved. Syncretic evolution. A second species forms an integral part of this civilization. They are big, strong, and most of them have the intelligence of a particularly dim-witted child. Ancient wars have culled their species of the most aggressive tendencies, leaving them quite servile. We have slaves. The Tree of Life. The hive evolved in a symbolic relationship with a vast tree. The tree grants them many benefits, but its loss would cripple them. Its avatar. Fruitful Partnership. This verdant civilization has developed a unique synergy with spaceborne fauna by offering their fruits to these creatures. They entice the seed dispensers to aid the colonization efforts. Galactic Doorstep. This civilization has a dormant gateway in their home system, potential technology benefit, or a looming menace. And finally, the Lost Colony. This civilization originated as lost and a forgotten colony, separated from its homeworld long ago. The struggling colonists endured many hardships before they could build up necessary technological and industrial base that would allow for them to return to space. And then there's a shit ton more, just an absolute insane amount more from the remaining DLC packages that I do not yet own. But from those, and looking at our guide, there were a few that stood out to me as potential. I really enjoyed the idea of the mechanists, because these guys look like they build robots. We love machines, they do everything for us, which I thought was kind of interesting. I also kind of like the idea of them coming down on, which one was the fucking meteor one? I don't remember. Post-apocalyptic clone army. Yeah, Calamitous Birth. The lithoids arrived on a meteorite. I thought that was interesting, although we're not a lithoid species type, so we don't quite fit that. Necrophage I thought was very interesting as well, where we eat people. We've evolved as a parasite, forced to feed off other sapient life forms to sustain ourselves. As it arrives on the galactic stage, other species are either going to join us or be eaten by us. I think that's great. I think that's who we're gonna be. I think Necrophage is a really, really good, interesting start for our species. So now we have got ethic points to choose. These kind of determine the ethics. What does our society believe in? What are the fundamental ethical rules and culture in our civilization? I think we need to be quite militaristic. Stellaris has a slight, I find it a bit of a weird issue, where if you are not militaristic and you take like the pacifist sort of route, where you don't really have an army and you don't really start wars and stuff like that, you by end game, like when you're deep into the galaxy and there's all these huge other empires around you and all the like end game storyline is kicking in, you're kind of fucked. You want to have at least a medium-sized army to have any sort of chance in pushing through with survival. At least the way that I play the game, I found that I've done some pacifist runs before, and they usually end in disaster. I mean, most of my runs usually end in disaster, but I think we should be a little bit militaristic. The only true virtues are courage and discipline, and channeled properly, they can overcome any obstacle. Therein lies true strength. Force withheld, a promise made. I think is interesting. I also think we should perhaps, let's see, xenophobe. I don't know if we should be xenophobic, although maybe we should, because we want to eat people, and this would allow us to purge and enslave, decrease our opinion, but we cannot give aliens full citizenship, full military service, and we cannot use the refugees welcome species policy, which is going to be pretty difficult if we want to have an integrated empire full of multiple species, or even like combinations of new species perhaps. So that's one to consider. I think it kind of fits in with our lore as like, we want to eat you, but you know, like maybe we're a bit more open about it. Egalitarian, any society that does not embrace the equality between its members, where an individual can rise to any position with enough hard work, is not only deeply unfair but ultimately counterproductive. I don't know, I feel like these guys like have a very strict, like rigid, almost authoritarian structure, where a strong guiding hand is essential to the success of any civilization. The alternate would be anarchy and chaos. It is the duty of the state to steer its citizens towards the paths that are the most productive. I think it's a very authoritarian sort of empire that we're making here. Xenophile, where we could like, we really like other aliens and we want them in. Materialistic, As we reach for the stars, we must put away childish things, gods, spirits, and other phantoms of the brain. Reality is cruel and unforgiving, yet we must steel ourselves and secure the survival of our race through the unflinching pursuit of science and technology. I think that we're materialistic. I think we like our army, we like our big strong government, and we like things. We want machinery, and we want to eat your flesh. I think is the way to do that. Right, let's take a look at what government authority we have. So we cannot be democratic because we are authoritarian. We cannot be machine intelligent. We could be corporate. Corporate governments are organized as a massive commercial enterprise that has completely supplanted the role of the state. Welcome to McDonald's planet. I don't think that really fits the vibe of our species, you know. We could be imperial. Imperial governments are similar to dictatorial ones, except the throne is always inherited by a designated successor upon the ruler's death. I'm not able to read words very well. We could be dictatorial. Dictatorial governments are ruled by a single individual for life that wields absolute control over the state. Or we could be oligarchic. Oligarchs. Oligarchic governments are ruled by a small group of individuals that hold all political power. So we are the secret society that rules everything. I kind of like that. I think an oligarchy is in charge of us. There's an elite at the top of our species that controls everybody down below. These guys kind of suck. This is kind of a really fucking dystopian species we're creating here, but I'm all on board for it. Right, let's see. Civics. What have we got? An aristocratic elite. This society has an entrenched nobility that occupies the upper echelons of society. Ooh, a nobility that I kind of like the idea of a nobility. Barbaric despoilers. This society holds few things sacred. The fight to live, and the strongest may seize whatever they covet. I don't know if that quite fits us. Catalytic processing. By focusing their individual efforts on catalytic chemistry, this civilization has unlocked the key to using organic materials in the construct of space-bound structures. Ooh, that's, you can have organic ships. Interesting. Citizen service, we could be in Starship Troopers. Are you doing your part? Full citizenship and the political responsibility that comes with it is limited to those who have served a tour of duty in the military. Service guarantees citizenship. A corvée system. The society considers it the absolute right of the state to decide where its citizens live and work. Ooh, that could be interesting. Cutthroat politics. Okay, I think aristocratic elite. Aristocratic elite. Sorry, words are like made up. I think is interesting. I kind of like the idea of a corvée system. That sounds cool. Cutthroat politics. The political system in this society is renowned for its intrigue, power struggles, shady backroom deals, and cloak and dagger scheming are par for the course. Those who survive long enough to learn the game, however, tend to learn it well. I think that kind of fits as well. An efficient bureaucracy. Okay, I want a corvée system. It sounds cool. The society considers it the absolute right of the state to decide where its citizens live and work. It waives all unity costs from pop resettlement, which is fucking insane. Automatic resettlement chance 15%, worker pop resource up 10%, resettlement cost down 10%. Excellent. Let's take a look at the next one. So, we have got traits left to pick for our species. Are we communal? Members of this species are highly communal and quite used to living close proximity to others. Conservationists. Members of this species believe that the resources must be conserved and recycled. We got quite a lot of different various things. Some are bad. The bad ones, as you can see here, take away or they cost -1 point, so I would get a point for choosing a bad trait. So it's basically a trait that's a little bit harder to use. So like unruly species are difficult to manage and organize. They do not like being told what to do and are often quarrelsome when questioning. So empire size from pops is up 10%, but we do get 2 extra trait points for picking that trait. So it adds a bit of difficulty, but gives us something good in that we can choose some more good things on top of it. I like to add it in because no society is perfect, and I think it adds for a little bit more of a complex sort of run when you're trying to deal with so many different things. But let's choose some good ones to begin with. I think we are traditional. I think it's a very traditional species because we are necrophages, the species of near immortals. Interesting. Procreates by consuming the populations of other species. So I didn't even read this before. This is fucking insane. Hang on. The species of near immortals procreates by consuming populations of other species. Our leaders live an extra 80 years. Population growth speed's really low. Monthly organic pop is pretty low. Pop food keep is all fucking low. Job efficiency is done. These pop output modifiers do not apply to hive-minded pops. Interesting. So the only way we can reproduce is by consuming the flesh of other animals, other species. Just insane. Right, let's get a slight bad one in. Deviance. I think we're repugnant. The physical appearance and customs of the species are considered offensive to others, and few appreciate them as neighbors. We're gross and we like to eat people. I think that's great. And that gives us quite a few more points where we can choose some stronger ones. I think intelligence. I think we want to be really smart. Like, as much as we are weird and gross and freaky, like there's a brain here. Like we are an advanced species of people, and we are talented, strong, resilient. Yeah, we're resilient. Like, we love our way of life. And I think that's everything we're going to be. We could pick another trait, but the only one we could pick would be a negative one, so there's not really much point in doing that. So this is the traits of our species. We are necrophages, we are traditional, repugnant, intelligent, and resilient. So now we have to think of a name. We have to think of a name to come up with for our species. You know, we're all... We hit the random, we can see the Quenti, the Alari, the Savelli, the Kalzen, the Alari again. But I think we can come up with our own name. Let's see. What have we got? I might call them Goobers. I've been saying it this. We're the Goobers. Yeah, Goober. We're Goobers. Species name plural. Goobers. Species adjective. Gooberin. Gooberin. We're the yeah. I like that. All leaders can be any gender. I think there is a distinction between male and female in our species, but I think it doesn't matter who's the leader. Okay, we're going to come up with a biography for them in a moment. I think we need to establish the Empire name, learn a bit more about the homeworld, then we'll come back and we'll really flesh out the biography with everything that we know. So if we look at the Empire name, the Allied Gooberan nations, the absorbers of Beta Hydri, Gooberan allied stars, Gooberan Necro, whatever that one was, Devourers of Helia, Constitutions, Gooberan Dictatorate. I think the Empire name should be something completely different. I think it should be different. The Gooberan Assembly. The Great Gooberan Empire. It's something simple. It doesn't need to be complex. The Great Gooberan Empire. Great Gooberan Empire. Good name. It rolls off the tongue. It's got some good g-g-g-g's. We can choose our ship names and various leader name prefixes. This one will not take too long to do. I'm looking at the leader names more than anything, because that kind of establishes a bit more of the Sunanatukan, Vikal Vigon, Monek Fen. I like this one. Humanoid 2. I feel like that feels Gooberan to me. Yeah. So this is the prepatent species is the species that the GOOBERS harvest and eat for food. So we get to decide what they look like as well and what their traits are, which I think is going to be very interesting. I think it's almost interesting if they're like plant people, you know, that we've just like harvested, or bird people, reptilian people, mammalian. I kind of like the idea of like them being like mushroom folk. Fungoids, you know, like look at this fucker. This fucking dude. We just munch on him and gain his power. I think that's interesting. So these guys, I think they're gonna be like overwhelmingly nice. Like they're just super fucking lovely people, and we just fucking munch them. They are docile because we've been able to eat them for a while. Members of the species are easy to manage and organize. They tend to be cooperative and amicable. That is through selective breeding and eating. They don't live for very long, perhaps. Socially combative. They're definitely slow learners. You know, like these are people that we've messed with quite a bit. They've got to be weak as well. And that is going to allow them to have some more loving traits, like delicious. I think they're communal. I think they like living with each other. And they can eat the sunlight. They have photosynthesis powers. They're like, you know, they're mushroom people. So the goobers, they like to eat upon the blage, the bloom, the blem, bloop, the blunks, the blunk. They eat upon the blunks. Yep, they eat upon the blunks. And we will come up with a biography for the blunks as well when we get round to it. They need to have mushroom-based names. I assume these. Let's take a look at what we got. Necroid, plantoid, daisy bloom, black fond, buttercup. Yeah, let's go for that one. Okay. Okay, now we get to create the homeworld, the goober homeworld. Looking at our portrait, we're kind of like goblin dudes. So I think it's like if we lived in like savannah, desert, more of a tropical almost. No, I think maybe savannah, like a rocky world dominated by dry, arid planets covered with nitrogen, oxygen, atmosphere. The small hydrosphere allows for brief wet seasons, but aside from a few ubiquitous grasses, vegetation is largely concentrated around shallow oases. I think that could be interesting. Or like just a full-on desert world. Tropical, Arctic, alpine, mountainous. No, I think savanna. I think we live in a savanna world. We're just living a random one. Homeworld name. What is the name of the goober planet? Flushim. Florida. I kind of like it that it's just called Florida, but I'm going to spell it Florida. Florida. They live in Florida. That's where the goobers are from, Florida. Their star name is called Magnus in all capitals, which I think is very important for the Glooberians. So let's see, what type of city do they live in? Probably a mammalian, yeah, I would imagine. Just kind of like buildings and stuff. The room where our leader stands in is important theming for the Gooberian empire. What do their walls look like inside their facility? I kind of like the look of this one. I think that's kind of interesting. Looking for sure. Let's choose our advisor voice based on government, the Necroid voice.
First time user setup initialized. Let me show you around.
Ooh,
Maybe play you a sound.
it keeps going.
The Empire looks pretty groovy. Or if you want something visual that's not too abysmal, we could take in an old primitive society-themed hollow.
Okay, I get it. Now the important part, choosing our flag for the GOOBERS. Okay, let's see. What do we want? I think domination-based, you know? Ooh, Paradox. Oh, that's just the company that produced the game. Imperial. What have we got? Let's see. I kind of like this symbol. I'm going to try and bullshit and come up with some sort of reason for it. It's like the rising sun into the GOOBERS sky. This here are the 3 points, the 3 values of GOOBERS society, of order, food, and advancement. It's pointing upwards to the sky. And other than that, I haven't really thought of any other reason other than that's just kind of the symbol that I want to go for. The type of ships that we have, mammalian ships. So this is what our corvettes are going to look like. You can get all different types of them based on like your species and what. Like if you want to have like whale ships or these fucking big chunky ones are really fucking cool. But I think we're going to stick with just the mammalians because they kind of fit in with our little goblin themed that we've got going on. Ooh, the Imperial ones are kind of nice, as are the Necroid ships. They're kind of fun. No, we'll stick with mammalian. We'll stick with mammalian. The frigates, destroyers are fucking sick looking. Anyway, let's see. What does our ruler look like? Our leader, a GOOBERS name: Vimas Vagaras, Ganak Tesla, Rald Vis, Gapra Inik. Vald Vagas. I like Vald Vagas, the woman. She is. Oh, interesting. Different looks between the men leaders and the women of the species. So they're known as chairmen. The chairman and chairwoman. Greeting phrase. Sounds exactly like them. Various different color variants. I kind of liked how they looked before. You can see their clothing that they could wear. Ooh, I kind of like that, honestly. Evolution stage, interesting. There's so much little details in this game that I very much like. We will also create a biography for them for sure. Let's see, what sort of traits does what was her name? Vald Vagas have? Principled. This leader is a strict code and follows our empire's morals, setting a good example for others. Some commanders prefer to use more subtle methods by employing spies and informants rather than brute strength. Mining rush. This leader has a firm focus on increasing mineral output. Charismatic. This leader is exceptionally charismatic, enforcing their will with ease. Logistic understanding. This leader is well aware of the importance of properly structured supply chains. Or an eye for talent. This leader is considered to be unusually perceptive, spotting talent where others see only eccentricity or incompetence. I think that this person is charismatic. I think they're a very charismatic leader. And that is most of the great GOOBERS empire created. We now need to come up with some biographies. So if you give me a few moments in the power of editing, I shall create. And by that I mean go and think for a while and combine all of these things into something glorious. Okay, I have some rough biographies thought out and written down. I shall now read them to you as the great GOOBERS empire is formed. So first, the goober species themselves. On the sun-scorched savannas of Florida, the GOOBERS clawed their way to dominance by embracing death, literally. Believing that power is earned through consumption of the fallen, they perfected necrophagic rituals that transformed the dead into something greater, usually themselves. Ruled by the charismatic tyrant, chairwoman Vald Vegas, and a pampered aristocracy, the Gooberan Empire is rigid, brutal, and efficient. Now, the Blunk, who are the mushroom people that the Gooberans feed upon. The Blunk are a gentle, spore-breathing fungoid species native to the sun-drenched savannas of Florida, living simple, communal lives and drawing energy from the sun. The Blunk once thrived in peace, unaware of the predators lurking in the caves and catacombs below. That peace ended when the Gooberans rose. Now, the Blunk exist at the bottom of the imperial hierarchy, clinging to what little light remains under the shadow of their overlords.
We're the Gooberans. I like the Gooberans' voice, it's very fun.
And the ruler, of course,
Vald Vegas. Vald Vegas rose from the noble corpse pits of House Vegas with a vision, a unified empire of flesh, fire, and efficiency. Charismatic and ruthless, she clawed her way to power through her charm, strategy, and a disturbingly persuasive funeral banquet.
And that is it. That is the Gooberan Empire created. We are oligarchic words. We are an aristocratic elite with a corvée system, authoritarian, militaristic, and material. We are goobers. We are mammalian, necrophage, traditional, repugnant, intelligent, and resilient. We live in Florida. And that is where we will begin this. We shall jump into our place in the galaxy, and this is where we are going to wrap up this video, as we will begin the next video with the real start of the series. So I think we should play on just a lovely medium captain difficulty. Iron Man mode enabled, of course. I really like a very big galaxy, because I feel like that gives us a little bit more time to explore and go around and kind of find things. Let's see, what type of shaped galaxy shall we have? Mostly separate from each other. Several thin arms create this hybrid between a spiral and a ring. That sounds interesting. A starburst, several parallel arms swirl out from the galactic core. A barred spiral, a ring, a classic elliptical. I kind of like the idea of a cartwheel galaxy. That sounds fucking awesome. Hyperlane density, I think 1.75, slightly higher. We'll have random empires involved, of course. Random crisis, different scaling difficulty. When this is enabled, any AI bonuses from the difficulty setting scale up over time, starting at 0 and reaching maximum. We'll just leave that off. Difficulty adjusted AI aggressiveness normal. Everything is set to basically being normal. Habitable worlds, empire placement is random. Advanced neighbors is possible. It is very possible that we land next to some advanced neighbors. Various different things. We got some precursors around the place. A minimum of 4 is recommended, and we have got 7 selected, so we can choose which precursors we want in. The Voltom, their knowledge was vast, their theories complex, but did their search for the ultimate truth lead to enlightenment or oblivion? They roam the stars, always searching, ever expanding. Now only their ruins remain, whispers of unforeseen consequences. That's the Yacht. The First League, fuck it, let's just have them all on. Let's have all of them on, as it was. Mid-game is the year 2500, the end year is 3000, victory year is going to be... off? I always find it difficult to end a run in Stellaris, because I kind of just want to see how history unfolds, and if the Empire will ever collapse. That's why I tend to have victories turned off. So I'll leave it off for now, and I want to come to our own storied conclusion, you know? We'll have some Marauder Empires with Elgates and Cavaliers set as well. And that is it. We are going to jump into the game, and then immediately jump out of the game and end the video. But I want to see where we landed and get to grips with the map now that the Gooberans are created. With a rich history and a complex society, kind of a nightmare, and this is it. this is where we will begin the game with our system here. Oh, look at Magnus. The beautiful star there, Magnus. I'll read over this. Here we go. In the not-so-distant past, Florida was dominated by a fairly unremarkable species. To all onlookers, they would have seemed to be following a standard meandering course of development, with occasionally rapid periods of innovation interspersed with much longer periods of seemingly insurmountable setbacks. However, unbeknownst to them, their planet was home to a second intelligent species. Us. For millennia, we, the Goobers, remained undetected by the planet's proprietors, little more than vague rumors of terrors in the night. We were a fairy tale told only to scare misbehaving juveniles, but they were wrong to discount us. At their rate of technological progress quickened, so do... I'll start that sentence again. As their rate of technological progress quickened, so too did our infiltration of their society. When their fall came, it was swift and bloody. We ruthlessly took control of the planet, our precursors reduced to subservience and gradual absorption into the Goober race. Now, armed with the recently discovered secret of FTL travel, we are ready to take to the stars and remake all species of the galaxy in our likeness. Begin. And that is where we will leave it. Oh look, Florida's a little moon. Onto take a gas giant, that's interesting. This is Florida here, our lovely home planet. This is our star system. If we continue to go out and take a look at the galactic map, here we have Florida and Magnus, and the Great Gooberan Empire. We are on the left side of this galaxy. It's a rather large galaxy, and we will see what is in store for the Gooberans. Nothing but greatness, I hope. Until next time, goodbye.